As Jack keeps searching, the story widens to include other great tales of legendary treasures and the endless hunt they spark. Oak Island versus other treasure hunts. The list of items found includes a 17th century Spanish copper coin, a Roman sword whose authenticity is questionable, and a manuscript possibly dating back to the 12th century. Other finds include a small piece of fabric that could be part of an ancient book, a bookbinder's tool associated with this fragment, and a piece of sheepskin parchment featuring what appears to be old writing. Discoveries also feature a human bone with potential Middle Eastern origins, a lead cross from sometime between 1200 and the 17th century, with a distinctive square hole, an old brooch adorned with rhodolite garnet, among other things like a metal hinge, an ox shoe, and a carved stone slab similar to others found on the surface. While interesting, these finds haven't lived up to the grand expectations of uncovering a massive treasure trove. Criticism surrounds the show, with some viewers arguing that it might prioritize entertainment over genuine historical investigation, possibly twisting or embellishing facts to draw more viewers. Others believe that if there was ever significant treasure on Oak Island, it likely has been found and removed long ago, leaving nothing but minor artifacts for today's hunters. This idea of searching for hidden wealth isn't unique to Oak Island. Similar quests for treasure are happening around the globe. One notable example is the legend of Störtebecker's golden burial in Germany. The story goes that Klaus Störtebeker, a famous German pirate who was executed in 1401, continues to haunt the small island of Tolo in the Baltic Sea. To attempt to settle his restless spirit, it's said his remains were moved to the uninhabited island of Tolo. Legend claims he was buried in a grand golden coffin, linked to a golden chain that supposedly surfaces occasionally in the sea. Despite this intriguing tale, his grave has never been found. There is a belief that one local fisherman always knows the location of Störtebecker's grave, a hidden past down through generations. Yet no one knows who this current keeper of the puzzle is. These stories, though colorful and rich in detail, often end with more questions than answers. Similar to the unresolved puzzle of Störtebecker's grave, the treasures of Oak Island remain impenetrable, with each discovery adding just a little more intrigue but never fulfilling the dream of finding a large cache of riches. However, the search itself seems to be the real draw. The ongoing quest, marked by moments of minor discoveries and frequent disappointments, continues to pull in adventurers and viewers alike. It's this continuous hope, the what if, that keeps the hunters and the audience coming back possibly more attached to the drama of the search than to any realistic expectation of finding vast wealth. Oak Island's true treasure may indeed be its ability to stir the imagination and the perpetual hope of a major discovery, rather than any substantial riches buried in its ground. The narrative woven through episodes of intense searching and minor findings is what keeps the audience returning, hooked on the adventure and the possibility that the next dig could be the big one. Gardner's Island, a small piece of land in eastern Suffolk County, New York, has belonged to the Gardner family for generations. This island, not far from Manhattan, became a temporary hideaway for pirate captain William Kidd in 1699. Heading towards Boston, Kidd chose this spot to hide his treasure, hoping to clean his tarnished reputation. With Mrs. Gardner's permission, the owner at the time, he buried his treasure in a ravine on her property. In a stark exchange, he gave Mrs. Gardner a piece of cloth woven with gold threads, alongside a grim warning. If he returned and the treasure was gone, he would take the life of either her or her son. The stash Kidd buried was extensive, including gold coins, silver dust, bars of silver, Spanish dollars, and valuable gems like rubies and diamonds, along with ornate items such as candlesticks and porringers. One of these diamonds was selfishly kept by Mr. Gardner for himself, instead of giving it to his daughter, as he had originally intended. Today, even though the island is private property, a plaque stands as a reminder of where Kidd's treasure was supposedly buried. Kidd had begun his life of piracy with a legal privateering license granted by the British East Company. His career started legitimately, but soon deteriorated as he turned against the British and began seizing their ships. His criminal actions eventually caught up with him when he returned to New York. He was arrested and sent back to England, where he was tried and executed. Although it's claimed that all of Kidd's treasure was recovered, the story has prompted countless individuals to search the area for centuries, hoping to find something missed by others. Shifting to another story of buried wealth, we find the tale of the Lima Treasure, which ended up on Isla de Coco, Panama, around 1820. This massive treasure, originating from Lima, Peru, was meant to be transported by Captain William Thompson, as he was entrusted by the church to safely deliver it. Yet during the journey on his ship, the Mary Dear, Thompson was overcome by greed. He murdered his passengers and redirected the ship to Cocos Island, Costa Rica, where he decided to hide the treasure. Thompson was eventually captured and executed in Canada in 1844. Before he died, he revealed the location of the hidden treasure to a man named Meister Keating. This act led hundreds of treasure hunters to Cocos Island, driven by hopes of finding the buried riches. Among them was August Gessler, a notable German treasure hunter who lived on the island from 1889 to 1908. Despite their relentless efforts and the compelling legends fueling their pursuit, none of these treasure seekers succeeded in uncovering Thompson's hidden wealth. From hidden clues to old questions, the search moves beyond Oak Island to explore more exciting legends of lost riches. The real value of treasure islands. In the 1990s, a company called Vlade Private Islands was in the business of selling islands, including one called Cocos Island in Panama. Around that time, a historian from Panama got in touch. He warned the company that they shouldn't sell the island for just a few $100,000. He believed it was actually worth much more, around $60 million. This surprising information came from his belief that there might be a great treasure buried there. Taking this claim seriously, Vlade Private Islands sought help from a treasure expert, William S. Crooker. He was well known for his research on a treasure found at Oak Island in Nova Scotia, Canada. Intrigued by the potential of a similar find in Panama, he traveled there to investigate further. He looked into old maps and histories of the area. His skills in reading these old maps led him to a remarkable possibility. The treasure that many thought was hidden in Lima could actually be on Panama's Cocos Island. But there was a complication. It was unclear whether the treasure was on Panama's Cocos Island or a different Cocos Island just across the border in Costa Rica. Up to now, no one has conducted a thorough search on the Panamanian island to find out the truth. This scenario is somewhat reminiscent of the tale in Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island, a book that since its 1883 publication has defined the idea of treasure hunting. The story has had a lasting impact on both the real world of treasure hunters and the fictional world of literature. It introduced unforgettable characters and elements like the talking parrot, the one-legged pirate, and the treasure map with a red cross. Interestingly, Stevenson didn't come up with all these ideas on his own. He adapted many elements from earlier authors like Daniel Defoe, Edgar Allan Poe, and Washington Irving, freely using their concepts. The idea for Treasure Island came about quite unexpectedly. Stevenson was on vacation in the Scottish High Moor with his stepson, and they were drawing maps for fun. One of these maps depicted an imaginary island with various features like bays, forests, and ruins, and even included a smaller offshore island named Skeleton Island. This playful project turned into the inspiration for Stevenson's most successful book. Unfortunately, the original map they created was lost, and the book was never published before the book went to print. However, Stevenson later reconstructed it from the descriptions in his novel, and this map is now included in nearly every copy of the book. Despite the initial loss, Treasure Island remains a popular work, inspiring countless readers with dreams of finding hidden treasures. Further north in Scotland lies Ailsa Craig, an island famous for its striking appearance and the legends surrounding it. Not far from Glasgow, Ailsa Craig is a prominent rock formation rising from the sea, known for its natural beauty. For years, people have talked about a treasure hidden on this island, though it has never been confirmed. Getting to the island isn't easy, but its stunning views and the lore surrounding it continue to attract visitors. Like the stories of Cocos Island, the tales of Ailsa Craig stir the imagination, though they often lead to more speculation than actual discovery. In the end, the real value of these islands may lie not in hidden treasures, but in their breathtaking landscapes and the enduring stories they inspire. The hill on this island rises steeply from the water, reaching up to 1,110 feet. If there were any treasure hidden within this steep hill, it would be extremely difficult to find. Many areas of the hill are hard to access, which would make it a good place to hide something valuable. However, no one has yet found any treasure there. Interestingly, the owner of the island might not be too worried about this. The island itself has increased in value so much over time that any hidden treasure might not seem very important compared to the island's overall worth.